Hi, welcome back to the Four Chains. Little housekeeping. We've been getting some questions as to whether we still give shout outs to subscribers who request them in the comments. Yes, we do. We did not mention that in the videos for the 30-day fitness challenge because, well, frankly, we were doing that. We didn't really expect a lot of subscribers because of that. But yes, if you subscribe to us and you put in the comments what kind of shout out that you want, we will definitely give you a shout out on a subsequent video. You'll also notice I'm looking down at notes. This is probably the most important video that we've ever done. It's been requested by a lot of Domino's franchisees, and I want to make sure that I don't miss any points and I stay focused. So I am going to use notes. Now, my first note is about a disclaimer. Let me just say this. Despite the title of this video, money is not the most important reason to go to work for Domino's Pizza. It's not the most rewarding. It's not any of those things. We will do a video after this about the most important and rewarding thing about a career in Domino's Pizza. But this particular video has a sense of urgency, and so we're doing it now because of the requests. Once again, this channel's for you guys. You request the videos and we make them. And the other reason why is that there has never been an easier time to become a millionaire, to come from nothing, to go into Domino's with no skill set, no wealth at all, start at the entry level and turn it into a career to become a millionaire. This is the best time in the history of Domino's, and we're going to talk about that later. I also want to talk about what I mean by anyone. Anyone can become a millionaire working for Domino's Pizza. It's very plausible. It's doable for anyone. That does not necessarily mean that anyone will become a millionaire for Domino's Pizza. I can say this, that in general, attention span and investing your time is a big factor. So the group of people that won't become millionaires for Domino's Pizza probably don't have the patience, won't invest the time that this video takes to become a millionaire. If you're not willing to sit down for this video and learn the things that I've learned over the years to become a millionaire, you're not going to become a millionaire with Domino's or anybody else. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. I'm just laying it on you. And also I want to say what I mean is, you know, a self-made millionaire. I mentioned that earlier, to come from nothing and just by your own career, your own good decisions, becoming a millionaire. There's obviously three factors in becoming a millionaire: how much you make, how much the money that you make you keep, and then of that money that you keep, how much money does that money make for you? We're only going to be talking about the first one in this, which is how much money you make, how to make the amount of money that you need to turn that into retiring as a millionaire. So the question becomes, like, what makes Domino's unique? What is it about Domino's where anyone can become a millionaire that's not true with the overwhelming other amount of career choices? Well, there's a couple of categories where anyone can't become a millionaire. So let's talk about the first category. The first category are careers that generally do not produce the level of income that can make you a millionaire. I want to be clear, money is not the most important thing. If your passion is doing one of these careers, I'm not telling you not to. There are things more important than becoming a millionaire. All I'm telling you is that they don't. Like, for instance, if you're a concert musician, you're probably not making a six-figure income. If you're in a rock and roll band and you guys hit it, maybe you can. But like if you play the cello Yo-Yo Ma is a millionaire. He had a six-figure income for an extended period of time. He's probably the only one. If you play the pan flute, if your name isn't Zamfir, you're probably not a self-made millionaire. If you're an archaeologist, that's a great and important thing to do, and if that's your passion, you should definitely do it. But I can only think of one archaeologist that's probably a millionaire. That's Jared Diamond, and he did not become a millionaire by doing archaeology. He wrote Guns, Germs, and Steel, and that ballooned into opportunities for being a college professor, for writing other books. If you feel like you can write the most important book written in a 30-year span, all power to you. You should do that with whatever careers. Number two, I would say, are categories that do produce a lot of millionaires, unlike the ones that I mentioned, but are not available to anyone. We're in a period of time right now where a lot of people have become tech millionaires. That's great. But if you were not raised in a culture that values education, even if you were born smart, if you weren't raised in a culture that values education and has the means to pay for the education that can get you into the tech field, that's just not available to you, to anyone. It might be available to you, but not necessarily to anyone. If you're, lots of athletes and entertainers become millionaires, and that's great. But if you weren't blessed with certain skills, if you weren't born with certain skills, you're not going to turn those careers into being able to be a millionaire. Those aren't skills that you can learn just because they're important to you. Now, you might ask yourself, why am I shooting a video about becoming a millionaire in Domino's in the back alley of this business with all this trash around? And you can't tell because you're watching it, but yeah, you might as well give Reynolds Street Bar and Grill a little plug when you get over there. Why am I doing this? Well, because this is an historic location. This is the original location. It's not here now. This is the original location of the Duke Street Dominos Pizza. I would say certainly the only argument for a more important Domino's Pizza in history would be the first one in Ypsilanti, Michigan, just because it was the first one. But I can tell you that Tom Monahan, who built that store, will tell you that this is the most important Domino's in history, and it is certainly and you can tell me in the comments if you disagree, the Domino's that has produced the most millionaires, okay? Certainly Frank Meeks, the greatest franchisee of all time, who built this store. Frank Meeks, obviously a millionaire. Just off my head, I wrote a few down, and I'm going to be upset if there's somebody that's close to me that is managed this store that became a millionaire and I don't mention, I really apologize, but just off the top of my head, Chet Lott managed this store, became a millionaire. If Chet, if that name sounds familiar, his father's Congressman Trent Lott. David Caraway, legend, God rest his soul. He managed this store. He actually quit a job as vice president of a bank because he gets what I'm trying to make you guys get in this video, to come back to work for this company, to work for Frank. He eventually became the franchisee of these stores after Frank's passing. David certainly became a millionaire. He willed these stores on his untimely passing to his wife, Mary Lynn Caraway. And just to reinforce that money isn't the most important thing, my wife and I, Angie's filming this, who got a chance to catch up with Mary Lynn at the last Domino's rally. Mary Lynn, yeah, she's a millionaire, but that's not what's important. Mary Lynn has won the game of life. She caught us up on all her kids. They're doing great. Dave passed early, and she raised the rest of their lives. She raised them by herself, and she did an incredible job by all signs. These guys are going to college. They're working on careers. They're either getting educated for it, they're already in it, and they're being successful. So, like, Mary Lynn is wealthy in a way that is much more important than money, and she went on to own this location. Wahid Asim, 7-time world's fastest pizza maker, he managed this location. He turned that into a lot of wealth. Robert Donner managed this location. Manager of the Year nominee. He is now the vice president of Team Washington. I know he owns a house about 15 minutes from here. It seems unlikely he hasn't been able to parlay that salary and that home into a net worth of $1 million. Masoom Ahmed, I think he still supervises the store. Masoom, you can tell me if you don't. Masoom was Northeastern Manager of the Year from this store, and now he's the supervisor for this region, so great job, Masoom. That's just to name a few. Once again, I apologize if I left anybody else. So let's talk about why Domino's. Why Domino's is the one that anybody can. Well, the skills that you need to become a millionaire in Domino's Pizza, they're free and they're easily developed. You do not have to be born with it. You don't have to be dealt a great hand in life to be able to turn that. So that is why I can tell you that Domino's is unique. We have put up a ton of videos about the skills, the details of the skills that you need, like making a great pizza and stuff like that you need to be a millionaire in Domino's Pizza. We are in the process of making many more than those, but we will talk about what those skills, we will name those skills in this video. Why Domino's? Why I say anyone? Well, let's say you're a franchisee and you own a store doing $20,000 a week. For Domino's Pizza, that's not a lot of sales, but I'll just use that sales. If you're doing $20,000 a week, that's over $1 million a year. If you are an excellent manager, $1 million a year store in sales can produce $200,000 in profit or EBITDA. If you are a below average manager, you could manage a Domino's Pizza doing $1 million sales and it could lose $200,000. So how does that bring us to anyone? Well, with Domino's, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter where you were born. It doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter who you love. None of those things matter with Domino's Pizza. They just don't. I'm not saying Domino's Pizza franchisees are morally superior to anybody else. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying it's a reality. It's like sports, and that's why, think about it. The difference between an excellent manager making $200,000 and a below average losing $200,000, that's a $400,000 swing. That's what matters. And anyone can be the person that makes the $200,000 profit. I do want to say this. Politics. In almost every company, the biggest factor in whether you move up in that company and thus become successful is playing politics. It is the most important skill to have. And I'm not saying politics doesn't matter in Domino's Pizza. I'm saying that it matters less. Of course it matters. People buy on emotion and justify with facts. If emotionally they don't want to promote you, if emotionally they don't want to keep you there, they will really, really try to find the facts. But the difference is with Domino's, the statistical barometers for success are so clear and so numerous that it takes politics predominantly out of the picture. Not completely, but predominantly out of the picture. What I mean is, Domino's, there's not a lot of debate. There are not great general managers in Domino's that some people think are great and some people are like, oh, that guy stinks. Because it's clear. There's sales, there's profits, but there's also 100 other statistics that Domino's use. And when you look at those, you know who's great. So like I say, politics is important in Domino's Pizza, but even if you are terrible at politics, you're better at politics than me. I think anybody that's watching this video that knows me and has worked with me will tell you I am the world's worst office politician, which is ironic since a lot of my family are actual politicians. But boy, I'll tell you, I would have been a millionaire 10 times over much earlier if I would have been good at that. But we'll leave. I may make a whole video about what not to do politically in Domino's Pizza. But my point is that there's nothing special about me. I can tell you a lot of people that I hired at minimum wage, they became millionaires before I did. So, but that doesn't mean that, in one sense, it makes me less qualified to do this video, but it doesn't mean that I shouldn't, because my point is, if I can do it, literally anybody can do it, and here's why. Like I said, the statistics, everybody knows that it's great. And here's the great news. If you are great, the cream always rises to the top in Domino's Pizza. If you're great, you will be successful, period. Okay? And the other thing is that there's only 3 things that you need to be successful with Domino's Pizza. And those 3 things are free, and anybody can do them. Okay, so let me talk about those qualities that you need. Number 1, show up on time every day for work. You may not think it's important. Maybe you weren't raised to think it's important. I'm telling you, anybody that owns a business, anybody that is an employer, it is very important to them. Show up on time. It doesn't require any particular advantages to do that. Just show up on time for work. Number 2, have a great attitude. A fish stinks from the head down. There's no such thing as a Domino's Pizza store where the attitude of the manager is crappy, but the attitude of the crew is great. It just doesn't happen. I remember one particular time when somebody was trying to make the argument that I am the worst person who's ever won Manager of the Year in Domino's Pizza. And I thought they were just ribbing me, but they had an actual reason. The reason why? 6 of the people that were drivers for me went on to become general managers. So his point was, it's like saying the manager of the 1927 Yankees is the best baseball manager of all time. He had Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and he won a lot of World Series, and, you know, he could have been mediocre and made it. But my point is, and I know I'm not anywhere near, there's a million Manager of the Years that were better than me. But my point is, that's the only argument for me being considered among the top. Because I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best in my company that year. I knew of a half dozen managers that were better than me in 1995. But I realized right away that the only way I was going to win was for my crew to be better. So I created an atmosphere where my entire crew was part of the process of winning, and that became something that everybody who gets a job as a driver pretty much intends on it being a part-time thing. But they fell in love with Domino's Pizza that year, and they went on to become managers. One of them became a National Manager of the Year. So that would be the number 2 thing, have a great attitude. Number 3, be goal-oriented. Now, goals are a skill. In the United States, we're pretty bad at them. The most common goal in the world is set every New Year's Eve by literally millions of America, and it's to lose weight. And to lose weight's a terrible goal. Now, doesn't mean losing weight isn't important. For those of you watching the 30-Day Fitness Challenge, it is. But being on New Year's Eve, if you say, I want to be under 200 pounds by March 1st or something like that, that's a fantastic goal. So there is a skill to being goal-oriented, and we'll talk about that in another video. But those are the 3 things. Show up on time, have a great attitude, be goal-oriented. It is guaranteed that you will be great and working for Domino's Pizza. If you're 25 years old and you spend $50 less a week than you make, and you invest that $50 conservatively with a money manager or whatever, you're going to retire. Even if you don't have the net worth of a house to make you a millionaire, you're going to retire with millions of dollars in cash. That being said, if you follow the 4 Chains video channel, you know our theme is life is not a dress rehearsal. So I don't want you to deny yourself. You look at our channel. We go to Mexico. We go to Vegas. We go to Italy. We have kids. If you have a kid, you might not realize that. That's a $300,000 bill, not including college. Not including college. Take 18 and divide it by 300,000 and you realize, hey, maybe I'm right. And that's the average. And I think you should do those things. So what we're talking about is making a six-figure income. Obviously, there's Domino's franchisees that are making over $1 million a year. There may be some vice president of ops that are making $1 million a year out there. But let's focus on making $100,000 a year. Why is that easy for anyone in Domino's Pizza to do? The supervisor of the store probably makes it, and the manager of this store that we're in front of probably makes it. So what makes Domino's Pizza unique in terms of making that? Well, one of them is the opportunity ceiling with Domino's Pizza. You can make that amount of money as a general manager. Don't get too caught up in titles. I think in this company, Team Washington, they still call managers managing partners because most of their income is bonus and it's based on a percentage of the profits of their stores, so technically they are. Supervisor in most of Domino's is above general manager, but I know in some restaurant companies, supervisor is actually below general manager. It's considered a shift supervisor. I think in this company they might call it regional director, but in other companies, regional director is above supervisor. Above supervisor is also called director of operations or vice president of operations, and then of course there's being a franchisee. So, and I know franchise trainers that make six-figure income. So there's a lot of opportunity ceiling there that you can take advantage of. But I'll just say that the skills that make a general manager that makes six figures are also the things that you have to understand are important to be great at above a manager, an area supervisor and above. Those are also the skills. So we're going to talk about those skills because there's 7 of them. There's 7 things that if you're great at, then you will be successful with Domino's. Number 1, make great pizzas. We have a video on how to make a perfect pepperoni pizza, which they're doing in there, and you know, it's important. That's our most viewed video probably. Realizing that you have a finite customer base. In other words, being good at customer service. When you have a delivery area, you have a finite amount of customers. If you lose customers, you will have trouble getting the sales that you can turn into profits. So treating every customer like they're your only customer, which is not the case at a store doing $40,000 a week, but to be great at a store doing $40,000 a week, you need to treat it like a store doing $6,000 a week. Set your example for your team. You know, above store at Domino's, they don't have to wear the same uniform, but I do. Great supervisors do. They want to set the example. As above store personnel, I follow the same rules that I want them to follow. So set the example as general manager. You have to have all your employees coming on time, as we talked about. You need to be on time. You need your employees to be in uniform. You need to be in uniform. Set the example. That's very important. Control your food. Every order has food. Control your food. These are simple things. We'll do videos on controlling your food, controlling your labor, which is the next one. Controlling your labor is very simple. Control your labor, because for every $100 in labor that you're spending, it's probably costing you $123, $132. There's all kinds of expenses that you have on labor dollar, and it varies depending on what city that you are in. Upselling. You know, got a great driver here. We pay him mileage, but we don't pay him more mileage to take sodas. We don't pay him more mileage to take breadsticks. We don't do that. So we don't pay the insiders more, the person on the phone more to upsell. And just spoiler alert, is that all after they order their pizza or anything else? Those aren't upselling. Upselling is, do you want any hot, delicious bread twists? Do you want any icy cold sodas? Those are, would you like to treat yourself to a hot, chewy, delicious marble cookie brownie or lava cakes? That's upselling. And having a clean store and clean employees. We serve food. We have a lot more carryout business than we did when I started. When people walk into their store, they need to see that your store is clean and they'll assume that their food is safe. The employees, when they show up at your door, they need to be in perfect uniform. They need to be well groomed. They need to smell well. Why? You're in a unique position in Domino's Pizza. You are inviting somebody who is a complete stranger to open the door of their house or their apartment or whatever where they keep their family safe to a complete stranger. They should be comfortable with that person, so that person should have an appearance that they are comfortable with opening their door to. Are there other skills that could make you a better manager, supervisor, director of ops? Of course. But here's the thing, those 7 skills, if you are great at those 7 skills, you are great, period. Even if you don't have any of the other skills, if you're great at those 7 skills, you will be great, and every Domino's franchisee in the world will want to hire you and promote you. Let's talk about the opportunity ceiling. I would say, now, the reason why I just do this and I'm no longer working for a specific franchise, drawing a specific salary, is that all of the previous videos you've seen have been heavily redacted. There have been things I've had to take out to play politics, which I'm terrible at. This is why I filmed them in the first place like an idiot. But were undeniably true and would be undeniably helpful. So now I have the freedom to say those things, and the rest of the video is some of those. I didn't put these at the beginning because I figured a lot of people would get angry and turn it off. The only level of the opportunity ceiling where it's harder now than it used to be to make $100,000 a year is general manager. 10, 15 years ago, when almost every other profession made less money, there were a lot more managers making $100,000 a year than there are now. And there's several reasons for it, but I'm going to talk about the most important one, and that's the bonus structure. Now, franchisees, particularly franchisees that requested this, might not want to hear this, but when you are constructing a bonus plan, it's something that I'm asked about all the time. I was asked 2 days ago by John Richards to review his bonus plan. New franchisee, another person who's been able to get a net worth over $1 million through Domino's. When you are constructing a bonus plan, it should have 2 qualities. Number one, it should be fair. You want your employees to stay. You want your employees to be excited about the bonus plan. If it's not fair, they won't be. So that's number one. But number 2, and this is the one that franchisees fail most about, it needs to move the needle. Your goal is that you make more money because your bonus plan incentivizes the things that make you more money. What's going on now with Domino's Pizza are 2 things, and this is the thing the managers aren't going to want to hear. Salaries are way too high, and bonuses are way too complicated. If your bonus plan is an eye chart, managers these days will look at it, okay, these are the things that I need to get my bonus, and their eyes will glaze over. You understand it, that doesn't mean that they do. And they will say, well, you know, my salary is $1,000 a week or $900 a week. Even if I don't get a bonus, I'm paying the rent. Whatever bonus I get, it's exactly that, a bonus. That's not what you want. You want employees that towards the end of the period or the month will really know exactly where they stand in order to step it up to get their full bonus. If your bonus includes anything other than food, labor, profit, and sales, it's too complicated. Should you add bonuses for audits, what they call operational assessment, and used to call operational evaluation report, and before that just audits? Sure, but there's only 2 or 3 of those a year max, so those should be added. Another, hey, you got a 5-star, here's an extra $1,000. If you get another one, you know, it's $2,000 or $500 or whatever. You should add to their bonus because of that. But bonuses need to be simple. If it's just sales and profit or food and labor, they will know where where they stand. All your managers will know where they stand, and they will alter. They will do things to make those better. So your bonus plan needs to be simple. Hey, bud, your bonus plan needs to be simple so it will move the needle. So managers will work harder and do better to get those bonuses. But beyond that, supervisors, area supervisors make six figures generally, or live in an area country where the cost of living is really low, so making 80, 85, 90 is the equivalent to making 120 where we're filming this. And then you can become above that, director of operations, or you can become a franchisee. So I want to talk about that. Domino's, if you look at why Domino's won the pizza wars, I go into detail, but Domino's franchisees is a unique opportunity. Anybody can do it. If you want to franchise McDonald's, you need to have $3 million in cash. If you want to franchise Domino's Pizza, you just have to be great at running Domino's Pizza stores. Here's another factor that people are not going to want to hear, but is absolutely 100% true, and why it is easier now to be a millionaire in Domino's Pizza than it ever has before. When I was competing for stores that are higher volume that I could make more money at, for promotions to become a supervisor, think about the people that I was competing with. Mark Rudd. Mark Rudd runs half of the United States Domino's Pizza now. He was Northeastern Manager of the Year, then he was a supervisor, then he went to work for corporate, and now he's this gigantic figure in corporate, running God knows how many stores. Dennis Tran. I mean, when I met Dennis Tran, I think he can comment here, I think he was making under $4 an hour. He wound up becoming 4-time world's fastest pizza maker and a franchisee. Christian Reich. You know, Christian, I think you can comment below if you're another one that's happened since then. We're the only 2 Triple Crown winners, Driver of the Year, Manager of the Year, Supervisor of the Year. Christian Reich is a successful franchisee now and certainly a millionaire. David Grizzard. David Grizzard was working for me for minimum wage. I gave him his first store. I moved supervisor regions in exchange for him being a supervisor. He won a world's fastest pizza maker, and now he owns his own place. John Barber. John Barber was a manager with me, a supervisor with me. He became my boss as vice president of this company right here, and now he's a franchisee, owns a ton of stores, and is unbelievably successful. Robert Donner, we mentioned earlier, he was manager of this store, then he became a supervisor. He's currently vice president of Domino's Pizza. John Rodas, he was a former co-vice president. He was a great manager, and now he owns his own place. Nico Casillas, well, Nico's not a millionaire, but he made enough money to be. He doesn't listen to us on investments. Please do, Nico. Jesse Dan, Wahid, Rob Hoff. These are people who I was competing with. So ask yourself, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. Ask yourself, who are the people you are competing with today for promotions and raises? Do they match the list? All of those people and many more that I don't have time to mention were coworkers of mine, were people I was competing with. Ask yourself who you are competing with. I'll tell you who you're competing with. I was competing with a generation that was taught, if you want something, go out and get it. Get it through heart, through enthusiasm, through hard work. Get that. Earn that promotion. I'm guessing you're competing with the current generation. I exist. I'm breathing. Give me money for free. I'm just keeping it real here. Because of that, the advantage is a lot of people are getting money that they're not earning. The disadvantage is they don't have the same drive, the same motivation to achieve goals, to be successful, because we are now in the you exist, here you go generation. You're entitled just for breathing. That's maybe bad news for society in general, but if you've watched this video all the way, it's fantastic news for you, because you can destroy those people. Those people are no competition for you. You're going to blow them away, and you are going to become a millionaire working for Domino's Pizza.